It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
I'm wearing red. Red is, for me, going to represent something. I wish I had a thought. I didn't plan this ahead, or I would be waving a Canadian flag. Happy Flag Day, my friend.
It's Flag Day, is it?
Well, it was. Apparently, the day after Valentine's Day, the 15th, is a National Flag Day.
Oh, okay. Fine and dandy. Yeah, I remember you sent me that thing. And I feel sort of the same way, to tell you the truth, as that person. It seems like the flag was hijacked from the average Canadian. And now if you fly it, it means that you support perhaps a group you don't support. And that's just a fact. That's how I feel. If I put a flag in my front yard right now, I think it would single others. I'd probably get people honking horns going by with hockey sticks and flags tagged to the hockey sticks. So that's just a fact of life. That's what has happened.
So, but how did it get to this place?
Well, people just hijacked it. They took it. Like all of those Ottawa freedom fighters, or whatever they want to believe they were. And I know people who still insist that everything was wonderful and peaceful. That's fine. I know people who were there and said that the media didn't cover it right. Fine. I can understand that too. I saw live broadcasts, and I saw hostilities within those live broadcasts, but what can I tell you? Those people adopted the flag and said, we're here to hang the prime minister and to bring down the government. They took the flag, and now they travel all over the neighborhoods with flags on hockey sticks, and dressing very much like warriors, acting very much like warriors who have won a battle.
I think the word is patriots. They like to use that word for themselves. They are the patriots.
Yeah, so they're the patriots. Fine, I guess. Go for it. But bottom line is, I'd have to think twice before I put a flag on my car or in my yard or on my boat or anywhere, because I would get a bunch of people coming up to me telling me how much they hate Trudeau and how much I've had this. I've run into this, and I just got to be quiet. I will not get in the fight. I've had total strangers bring it up in line.
What kind of line? At the LCBO?
Oh, it could be anywhere. LCBO, it could be anywhere. Total strangers. If you say the wrong word, all of a sudden you get this complete spilling of the how they're not going to take it anymore, and how yeah.
Interesting. Okay, can you pause there and give me a trigger word? Give me something that you said that was a trigger, and why you get the.
Sometimes it's not a trigger. Sometimes they're so wrapped up that everything has to bring them to that point, and they assume. This is what I'm noticing. Anybody that seems to be on that wavelength assumes you are too. Now, I have witnessed how if you aren't on that wavelength, it becomes very, very angry, very, very quick.
Yes.
It just becomes angry quick. And I'm a right-winger, Terry, but I'm telling the truth. I will not discuss it because I don't want to, I just don't go to your brand. You've got your own club. You belong to something, and that's what you need something to fight, and that's what your problem is.
May I suggest that you stop using the word right to describe yourself? Say you are a moderate.
Whatever. My point being, I'm not going to get into that argument, because either you agree or it's an argument. And I don't want, it can't be, I don't see it that way, because you're going to be there for a half an hour or an hour trying to just back and forth about why you think differently.
Yes.
So that I have noticed. I'm just saying it as a truthful person. I've been in maybe the airport or something, been in line, said something. The next thing, well, we're not putting up with this anymore. Look at who we've got in Calgary. That person, we're not going to put up with it anymore, and on and on and on it goes. And I just nod like a stupid idiot.
Because you avoid conflict by doing that.
Well, I'm not going to get into it.
That's what I mean. You avoid conflict.
Yeah, I'm not going to change your mind, so let it go. You can
Okay.
blab, you blab and blab, and I'm sorry, excuse me, but I got to go to the washroom.
So on Happy Flag Day, which is the tweet that I sent you from Justin Trudeau, because I told you I follow the politicians from all the major parties just to see what they're saying, what their official tweets are. So today we're celebrating one of our country's most well-known symbols, the maple leaf. Wherever it flies, the flag represents the values we embody as Canadians. Values such as, now, can you name some values that you think are Canadian values? And then I'll read you what Trudeau says.
Oh, Canadian
What do you
values.
think is a Canadian?
Well, I think a Canadian is we like to think of ourselves as peaceful. We like to think of ourselves as moderates, where we can communicate and contribute.
Both
back and
ways?
forth. Yeah,
Back and
both
forth?
ways.
Okay.
We believe in social benefits for sure. That's part of what we do. We believe in the rule of law. So that's another one. So
That sounds pretty core. That's pretty hardcore. That's basic. I think every Canadian, even the Patriots in the Freedom Convoys, could ascribe to those values that you just outlined. Wouldn't that be true?
I would think, yeah.
Okay, so you got them. Peace, freedom, openness, generosity. Diversity is one that you didn't mention, but it could be alluded to. Diversity. Canada is probably the most diverse country in the world. I think it is, according to UN statistics. So, I think most of us would agree to everything, but perhaps the last one, diversity. But values like peace, freedom, openness, generosity, helping your neighbor, are all core to being a Canadian. And yet, when the flag is waved, that's not why you and I, among others, would hesitate to show a Canadian flag in public.
Yeah, the flag should unify everybody, and also the flag should almost be neutral. In other words,
well, it should be.
I may believe in the values that I just mentioned, all of them. I don't have to agree with everything within those values, but I do agree with simple things like maybe what Trudeau said, and I don't know if I agreed at the time. I'm talking to Pierre here, when he said the government has no business in the bedrooms of the people. That's something that I agree with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't agree with everybody's practices in this country, but I do agree with their right to practice. You know, that kind of thing.
Yep.
That is sort of Canadian. And so when the flag raises, all the prejudices should go.
Yes.
That's why you like it when there's a soccer game and you're Canadian, you know. But our country is so diverse. You will see Italy, you'll see Argentina, you'll see.
Oh yeah, the World Cup is a wonderful exploration of culture and tradition and colors, and the World Cup, soccer brings that to us.
Yeah, like some city like Toronto, you know, when a World Cup comes, you would almost think they should do a whole ad thing saying, if you want to experience the world, come to Toronto, because you got Little Italy, you got China, you've got Japan, you've got everywhere just within the greater Toronto area. Absolutely every religion, every nation. And when I used to drive for YRT and it would be a World Cup thing, you know, I knew when I was in a place that was crawling with Italian descent, because there'd be Italian flags absolutely everywhere and on the hoods of the car. And, you know, and then you go into another area and you'd see different flags, that those rooting for their people. And of course, whatever team wins, the streets are just crawling with people from that country. The bars are filled. Everything is, so you can really promote that as a real international place. You can't go to Saudi Arabia, but you can come to Toronto and witness it. Canada should do something like that.
Well, Toronto is the most diverse city in Canada.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think
probably maybe the world.
I think there are things to celebrate, and diversity is perhaps the most, well, in this day and age, it seems to be the most important, but it does create some hostility.
Well, you're always going to have some people that are going to be hostile towards certain things. I think for the most part, most people are living in harmony. The fear has gone, I think, in most people that, just because you may be a Muslim, you're not going to cut my head off. And just because you are a Sikh doesn't mean you're a Muslim. You know what I mean? Because they also
Doesn't mean you've got the kirpan in your headpiece.
and your knife's ready to go kill somebody.
Right.
There seems to be a lot more comfort within. Of course, I'm not a world traveler, so I don't know. But there seems.
Do you find that in Florida when you go to your holidays? Do you find it in Mexico when you go on your holidays? Do you find it anywhere?
Well, I don't find the diversity as much. Like if you go into Mexico, you're going to find a lot of Americans. Apparently, there's an awful lot of Argentinians in Mexico. A lot of businesses and that kind of thing. But I didn't go too far beyond the core of the city, you might say. I didn't travel too much. I think in Toronto, you don't have to walk too far, and you walk in complete different neighborhoods. And I don't know if any of those neighborhoods are really dangerous. I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know, but I used to walk the streets of Toronto all the time.
Yeah, the streets of Toronto. Yeah, I like it.
You like that title? Okay.
Well, yeah, it reminds me of streets.
Let's wrap it up. I just found it interesting that the tweet from the Prime Minister had a number of values that we all embrace, and yet I wonder how many truly embrace the final one that he used, and I'm glad he put it up there because it does seem to be a bit of a trigger point, diversity. I think some people still balk at diversity.
Well, yeah, there's fear and different things. As I said, I don't agree with everything that's happening in my world, but I tend to agree that it's not necessarily me that needs to fight you on that. I have my beliefs, and my core is, of course, the Bible. That's where my core is. So there's a lot of things I disagree with, but I don't disagree with your right to disagree with me.
Well said, Voltaire.
Yeah. So what can I tell
All right.
you?
We have another podcast coming up. Stay tuned. The Jim and Terry Show signing off for now. National Flag Day. Hope you got yours to wave. No, you don't, because you don't want to duck. You'll have to pretend that you're a deer. The shots will be coming. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.